the Chinese per se do not have that worldview. They do not believe in their core, in their essence. They do not believe in going somewhere else and conquer other people and dominate them. They believe in a win-win situation. They believe in how in business and trade. That is their worldview. Look at how they're developing their own thing. It's true they will be controlling things, but the one belt, one road, one belt thing, that is the most ambitious project in humankind existence. That one road, one belt thing. And what is at the basis of that? Commerce, trade, this and that. You know, how I can exchange my service for money and everybody can be happy. That is how they see the world. And they are on course of overtaking the US. They are developing the weapon and all that because they have been invaded, like Russia, many times. And they have been treated like less than animals, less than human beings, just like blacks were treated. So they decided that that's it. They will never, ever allow themselves to be treated that way ever again. And that is why they're now developing all those weapons and nuclear weapon and all that, and really being very, very, very aggressive in terms of the land, the island, artificial island in the South China Sea and all these kind of things, and you know, all that, because they're like, no, we have to make sure now. And they, for the first time, they send a base in Djibouti in Eastern Africa there. First base, Chinese base ever outside of China. So and all of that to just make sure that to control the trade and all the things. So it's not. So when you say the underdog will develop things to become this, within a certain asili, within a certain ideology, within a certain worldview, yes. But if your fundamental worldview is not that of conquest and anything, that is not something you want to do. That is a caveat there. If that is not in your worldview, being an underdog that comes back to retake the power is not in your worldview. That is the literal caveat. That is the literal exception to that summary that you just said. Because we're starting a new chapter here, page 311, where they say what is in a lie, and then she's giving a few examples. The Iranian deal, where Reagan said that, you know, like his administration has swapped arms for hostages, utterly false. You know, they were accusing Reagan, you know, in 1986 that because Iran had American hostages and he was negotiating to get them back, and then he sold them weapons in exchange. He gave them weapon in exchange to American come back. So they started pummeling him, and he denied it. He said his administration never ever exchanged, you know, weapons in exchange of American hostages, and that was a big lie. But that was something that nobody was supposed to know. And then later on, he fired. He removed his admiral, Poindexter, from office of national security, right? Because the whole thing leaked. You know, because the lie, the government must maintain the lie, and that is something that is within the European asili. You see, and the background, for example, when between, if you remember the war between Iraq and Iran, you know, where those two countries was neutralizing each other, who was at the basis of it? The U.S. needed Iran for the Persian Gulf and all the things that they needed there, and also needed Iraq. So, and those two were fighting like tooth to nail, killing each other. But who was giving weapons? The U.S. And when Iraq was kind of going down to lose, the U.S. would give more weapon to bring it back. And then when Iran is kind of going down, give more weapon. But what was the official stand of the U.S.? We are neutral. We're not taking side. We're not doing anything. We really just want these two countries to resolve their fights and all that. That was the official U.S. stance. But activating the war behind the scene, because it was good for business. The U.S. weapon manufacturer could sell more weapons, and the U.S. could when two people are fighting, they want ally, they want supporter, and the U.S. can play the two sides for its own selfish goals. See, the goal of the United States has been to keep either side from winning a decisive victory. It was not at all permissible for either side to win, and the U.S. made sure of that. But to us, we say, no, we're just a neutral. So everything that's going on in the world and the U.S. is involved. Whenever there is an official version, what I can just tell you is believe the opposite of what the official version is. That is what is true. That is just the way I operate with the government. So, and then hypocrisy as a way of life. So you can see that I don't even need to read this. Like the whole way the European have been operating, and then they're descendant in the US through rhetorical ethic, what the author here calls rhetorical ethic, is about, for example, if I say, what are the American values? You tell democracy, freedom, blah, blah, blah. Yes, the European have values that now are the barometers that the country should live up to. And those values are just appearances that the whole country as a culture must adhere to. But it's not really meant to live it to its core. It's meant to project their image of this is who we are to the non-European, to the people who are not like us. See, we uphold these values. This is who we are as a people. But in reality, we are doing the opposite. So it's to subdue whatever resistance and whatever thing that the others that they want to conquer might do. No, they have blah blah blah. So this is the basis of the hypocritical way of life. So, and on page 313, she says, somebody in the textbook says, for example, that they felt themselves called to serve humanity, and who have little interest in either the money or the prestige of their position. Of course, many physicians do not measure up to this ideal. See, they will tell you that, for example, doctors, physicians, they take the Hippocratic oath to save lives. So they're not interested in status. They're not interested in money. They're not interested in anything. They're just benevolent people who have trained all their lives to use the skill to save lives. Those are the ideals that they present you. But this author tells you that those are just ideals. But in reality, those doctors do not live up to those ideals. So, and that is, like, for example, because if the patient knows that I'm going to see the doctor, but the doctor is just interested in my money, how will the patient trust that doctor? And that is the same way that we will close very soon. That's the same way that the European use their own system to dominate. See? And down there, she says, that is basically the idea in the American psyche. He said, it is rather an indication of the fact that this is how Americans want to appear to others, most often to non-European people, their objects. In this case, it is the way that the doctor wants to appear to his patient, his object, because this appearance works to his advantage. On the other hand, an image that projects him as a potential exploiter can lead to the possibility of malpractice suits and to the institutionalization of socialized medicine, neither of which is lucrative for him. So if I don't project the image, the value that I'm not interested in status and money, then that I'm just exploiting my patient, then I'm subjecting myself to lawsuits or to institutionalized medicine. So if the European did not came with their true nature, that we come into these communities, Africa and this and that, and non-European, to steal your resources, Don't you think that I know those non-European will find way to defend those resources? No. They came as, we are very virtuous. We came to civilize you. We came to bring you the good news. We came to blah blah blah. So there are very interesting things here that you can see. You see, for example, here, okay, I like this part because I was telling you that in the beginning how the European has the top of page 314. It was within the incipient European experience that rhetoric came to be regarded as art. The European has developed rhetoric, word speaking, sweet talking, as an art form. Whereas in African culture, words have power. African has always known that anything that comes out of your mouth has power. And that's even why in the Bible, they say in the beginning, it was word, and then the words took form. So the European mind is a political one, because they're more interested in their appearance than, who they really are inside. That's the last line in the first paragraph there at the bottom. To be concerned with one's image as opposed to oneself is a European characteristic. And you can see that in America every day. And when you were telling me when we first started to meet, you were saying that you needed to develop skills to navigate microaggression and all that. In order for you to be able to navigate microaggression, you first need to know how those people are projecting the aggression, the microaggression, and said behave. What is their behavior? You have, especially in the San Francisco area, where you have a lot of white liberals who say they are your ally. And there's a certain way you're supposed to talk. There's a certain way they behave with you. And you have to be able to really see through that masquerade, that mask. And that is the thing. Because they're more concerned of the image they project to you to deceive you. When behind that mask, it's nasty. It's ugly. So, and your job is to be able to see through, to detect that. That is your job. So you have to be able to understand how the whole thing function, how they function. So in the second paragraph at the bottom too, she said the major contributing factor to the success of European nationalism has been its projection as disinterested internationalism. Because wherever they went around the world, they were projecting that they're not interested in your resource or anything. They're just benevolent people who are coming to teach you, to civilize you. And then, page 315, you can see that Indian Native American quote there in the middle. They will make slaves of us if they could, but as they cannot, they kill us. There is no faith to be placed in their words. They will say to an Indian, my friend, my brother. They will take him by the hand and at the same moment destroy him. Remember that this day I warned you to beware of such friends as these. I know the long knives, they are not to be trusted. This is an American Indian who says, a Native American who is saying this, of the European who came to conquer that continent there, because they could see through the mask. Oh, my friend, I'm your friend. Oh, my friend. No, skeptical of people like that. Like, cut the crap. What is your purpose? That is how you deal with those people. What is your real intention? What is your purpose? Stop that my brother, my friend thing. And then smiling and showing me how nice you are. When you really, really are here for something. See, page 316 at the top there. They almost entirely like those slight hypocrisies without which our civilization does not seem to work. Look at the beginning of that quote. That is a quote from Havelock, a white European, who says of the pre-Platonic Greeks. Pre-Platonic Greeks were close to the African because they were not objectifying nature yet. They were still going with the feelings, the whole we are part of nature, and really being like what the European today would call childlike. being honest and all these kind of things, before Plato started developing the whole European asili of hypocrisy and control. And then they started like kind of discarding all the philosophers that came before them, thinking they were children because they identify with nature. They were not strong enough, smart enough to control nature, control the people. So this is what European is saying of the European philosopher before Plato, because they were very honest like Africans at the time. Say, another thing noticeable about them in this period is their capacity for direct action and sincere action, and for direct and sincere expression of motive and desire. They almost entirely lack those slight hypocrisies without which our civilization does not seem to work. This is an honest European there. Say, if we're not hypocritical, our civilization would fall, because our civilization is founded on hypocrisy. That's how we maintain power. As you were asking me before, how is it that one culture will develop so much power to control the culture and maintain themselves and this and that? How is it that the Europeans have been able to do that for so long? Through hypocrisy, being able to deceive non-European, tell them one thing but doing something else. So beware of all those nice, sweet, and nice talking liberals there in the Bay Area who tells you how they're your ally and how Trump is the monster, how you shouldn't this and how you can't even stand this, and then they sweet talk and they load, they make you sleep and feel like, okay, I can feel comfortable and safe around them. No, I've always been skeptical. Always. Because I was aware of these kind of things. Because when they come like seemingly nice and all that, I say, okay, what is your agenda? I might not tell them that in the front, but in my head, I'm like, okay, I can see what you're doing. But I'm just more interested in understanding your agenda here. What is your real thought? If that mask falls off, what am I going to see? You see, this guy was brutally honest. If there is no hypocrisy, then the whole empire will fall. That's why America is the most hypocritical country in the world today, because that's how they maintain the power. So, see, in the middle there, now closing, it packages European cultural imperialism in a wrapping that makes it appear more attractive, less harmful. So that is what they do. See, value refers to that which is encouraged and approved in a culture. The ability to appear to be something other than what one is, to hide oneself, one motive. That is very good at that. And now, the rhetorical function of Christian, the whole thing you need to know here about Christian ethics. Like in the middle there, she says, religious statements provide ideological, spiritual, and emotional support for the maintenance of cultural entities and help to define simultaneously as they reflect the definition of the collective personality. So you will understand that European, they use Christianity as a weapon. Christianity as a weapon, as an ideology, as a weapon to weaken the non-European that they were going to abuse and exploit. Because look at the whole Bible. The kingdom of heaven belongs to the poor. Give me the other cheek, Jesus said. Slap me, I'll give you the other cheek. Love your enemy like you love yourself. Try to use the conversation we have to understand this biblical thing. Who was that targeted towards? If I come as your enemy and I kill you and I take your people as slave overseas and I steal your resources, you cannot fight back. Give me the other cheek. Give me more. Love me like you, because the God that I gave you in this Bible will give you everything. I am the devil, so for me, I'm going to hell. But I should take all your things. Don't defend yourself. They make the poor and things are the people that God loves. Look at the carefully crafted words that are in the Bible. that was now directed towards non-white, non-European. Because when you say, where do they get the power from? It's pretty obvious where they get the power from. What can you do if you have no money? You have no power. What is driving the world today? No matter where you are, no matter what culture you live in, indigenous, non-indigenous, in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, what is driving the world today? Money. Where do they get that power from? Money. The people who control the money, who control the institutions of money, the banks and things and that is. So, but then I don't understand your question, because when you say, where do they get that power from? From money. Because they've designed the world in their image, in the image that they want the world to be. And they have assigned what is a super value that everybody must look up to. And then they own that value. Because maybe you're asking a question that I don't really understand. Because when you say, where do they get that power from? I'm not sure if that is, I don't know if what you mean by that question. Because for me, if I look at the world the way it is today, right, even as it has developed over history, material, money, that is the direction, that is the essence. That was not usually what indigenous culture were after. But as the world is becoming globalized, that is now the king. I don't know, because I really don't know if that's what your question. Maybe there is another question behind your question, and maybe that's something we can discuss next time. Yeah, so let me make that note here. Where, okay, okay. Where the powerful get their what? Their power from? I guess that's why. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And what was the second one? The second one was, how can we what? What was the second thing? Yeah, but I think you also said something like, how can we get out of it, or how can we move on from it? I didn't get the second part of your question, because I feel like you had two.